What is up, YouTube? Welcome to the first episode of the Rational Dad Podcast. All right, guys, so here's the deal. This is my first video, my first episode here on YouTube with this podcast, and I just want to make it clear what I'm about. I consider myself more of a conservative person. I'm not going to shy away from that. But I also consider myself a very rational person. If someone brings some evidence to me on a particular topic, and I think that I've been wrong or that I'm being an idiot, I try my hardest to not be one of those people who, when there's clear evidence to the contrary of whatever the thing may be, that I'm just going to hold on to this just because my side this, my side that. I try really hard not to be that person. I love to play devil's advocate. I'm going to do that a lot on this show, even to my own ideas, because I think it's important that we listen to people that we don't agree with. Listen to them. You may not agree with them, but shutting people down, quote unquote, canceling people, all that stuff is so toxic. And so it's so vital that we don't do that for the future of this amazing country that is the United States. So that's just a little bit of what I'm about and what the show is going to be about. I'm going to try to upload every single day, at least Monday through Friday. You're probably looking at a 20 to 30 minute video on average, probably something like that, depending on what the topic is. And I'm going to take excerpts from, podcasts, articles, things like that, that are culturally relevant, scientifically. And no, I'm no scientist. I'm no expert on anything, but, I try not to be a dummy. I tried to research stuff. I try to be, somewhat informed. But today I'm going to be reacting / discussing a clip from the Joe Rogan podcast where he talked to a doctor named, I could be saying this wrong, Sanjay Gupta. I've never heard of him before, but he's a doctor, and he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. In this particular clip, they're discussing CNN's propaganda. I'm assuming it has something to do with the Ivermectin, that whole debacle. But yeah, here we go.
So for you, Joe Rogan,
yes,
I would say you've had it.
Yes.
So now get one shot of the vaccine.
No.
Why not?
Because I have better immunity than I would if I was vaccinated. Right?
Yes.
Don't I?
I think your immunity is really good.
So why, if I've already gotten through COVID and I was really only sick for a day, and then 5 days later I was negative, and I do have the natural antibodies now, why would I take a chance in getting vaccinated on top of that?
By the way, I'm glad you're better. I'm glad it only lasted a day.
You're probably the only one at CNN that's glad.
No. We're not.
The rest of them are all lying about me taking horse medication. And we should talk about that.
That bothered you.
It should bother you, too. They're lying at your network about people taking human drugs versus drugs for veterinary.
Calling it a horse dewormer is not a flattering thing. I get that.
It's a lie.
The whole thing with Joe Rogan getting COVID, this is not even about Joe Rogan. This is just people in general. And this is what Joe Rogan is talking about. The thing that's confusing to me, and please comment down below if you have an answer to this. If you can get and receive or get and give the virus, even if you've been vaccinated, and you feel that you do not have a compromised immune system in a way that if you got the virus, that it would harm you long term, or even worse, kill you. If you don't feel that any of those things are true, and then why does someone else get to tell you you have to take a vaccine? Now, I do hear the argument from the people that say, well, because it's not about you, it's about the general public. It's about, spreading it. But it's already been proven, right? Unless I'm wrong, but I don't think I am, that you can still transmit the virus even if you are fully vaccinated. And I read something the other day that said that 95% of people that got the virus and were hospitalized and or died from the virus, I think the people that died from the virus had on average four comorbidities. That's a problem. So what Joe talks about a lot is and by the way, I'm not anti-vax. I think that there's lots of people that should get the vaccination. Our youngest daughter got the vaccination because she has a lot of health issues. She was born disabled. She's had a lot of surgeries. She has 1/3 of one lung. She's fully vaccinated. She got 2 jabs, right? I think if you're elderly, I think if you have a compromised immune system, you should get the vaccine. But if you're a younger person, and I mean, I'm 39 years old, so I wouldn't consider myself younger. I'm no spring chicken, but also I work out fairly regularly. I eat fairly well. I don't drink a lot of soda. My drinks consist of coffee with no cream or sugar and unsweet tea. You know, I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that kind of thing. If I feel like I can get it and the virus and I can not die from it or have any long-term effects and I can beat it pretty easily, then why is it, and I'm talking to the people who think I should get the vaccine, like in some cases forcefully, why is it your decision to make my health choices? And if your argument is because it's not about me, it's about the people who I can give it to, well, the people who are vaccinated can still transmit the disease or the virus. So that argument does not hold water unless there's something I'm missing. And if there is, please comment below.
A lie on a news network, and it's a lie that's a willing, that's a lie that they're conscious of. It's not a mistake.
Yeah.
They're unfavorably framing it as veterinary medicine.
Well, the FDA put this thing out. You saw that. Did you see that thing that the FDA put out?
What did the FDA put out?
It was a tweet, and it was snarky. I admit it. They said, "You are not a horse. You are not a cow. Stop taking this stuff," or something like that.
Why would you say that when you're talking about a drug that's been given out to billions and billions of people, a drug that was responsible for one of the inventors of it making the
Nobel Prize
in 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, a drug that has been shown to stop viral replication in vitro. You know that, right? Why would they lie and say that's horse dewormer? I can afford people medicine, motherfucker. This is ridiculous. It's just a lie.
I don't think anyone is.
But don't you think that a lie like that is dangerous on a news network when you know that they know they're lying? You know that they know that I took medicine. Like, here it is. This is ivermectin.
You got it.
Sanjay has got, I hope I'm saying his name right. Sanjay has got to be sweating through that black t-shirt. There's no way he's not. That looks painful. Because here's the thing, whether you agree with Joe Rogan or not on the ivermectin, on the just not wanting to take the vaccine for personal reasons, rather you agree with him or not, it's an objective fact that ivermectin is a long-standing, safe, FDA approved for many, many years, billions of doses given, safe people medicine that has antiviral qualities. At the bare minimum, it's not going to hurt anybody. So if you can take that in conjunction with just having, you feel like you have a healthy immune system already to beat this virus on your own without the vaccine, then who's to say who should or shouldn't take this stuff? And for a news network like CNN to go to bat against Joe Rogan, go to war with Joe Rogan and try to spin his success story, and it's anecdotal, this is one person, I grant you that, to just dismiss it and try to say it was just a horse dewormer and that we shouldn't, you're an idiot if you take this stuff, is just a lie. And like I said, I'm not an anti-vax person. I think that you should get the vaccine if you feel like you need or want the vaccine. That is your choice. That's the difference that we're seeing right now. A lot of people don't think you should have a choice, and that's where a lot of people have a huge issue.
Right here. Somebody gave it to me.
All right, hang on. The thing is, we're like going so fast. Like I feel like I'm missing.
Do you think that's a problem that your news network lies?
Well, I don't.
Dude,
I mean, what did they say?
They lied and said I was taking horse dewormer. First of all, it was prescribed to me by a doctor.
Yeah.
Along
they
with
shouldn't have said it was
a bunch of other medications.
If you got a human pill, because there were people that were taking it, the veterinary medication, and you're not, obviously. You got it from a doctor, so that it shouldn't be called that. Ivermectin can be a very effective medication for parasitic disease. And as you say, it's probably, you know, I think what, 250 million people have taken it around the world.
More,
I get that.
Way more.
So
way more. Billions of people have taken it.
Can I just come back to the one I want to talk about? Two things
you
on the ledger.
You have, before we get to that, does it bother you that the news network you work for out and out lied?
Well,
now I get the position that Sanjay is in right now. I get it, because he knows in his core that what they tried to do, the smear campaign against Joe Rogan and his anecdotal success story of beating the virus, they know they did him wrong. They know they did. They may be liars, but they're not idiots. Okay. So, but this guy, Sanjay, he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. He has to try to, Joe Rogan's not letting up, okay? He's eviscerating this guy right now. Because here's the problem Sanjay's having. He knows it. And trust me, he would love to say, yes, that was wrong. They lied and they shouldn't have done that. But he works for CNN. If you go on the Joe Rogan podcast and you work for CNN, and then you just all out say, yeah, CNN lies, or they lied, then first of all, you're admitting guilt, one. And two, he could lose his job. I mean, I don't know. Like, the guy's in a tough spot right now. No doubt about it. But he should tell the truth. And my dogs are barking, so hopefully that doesn't continue to happen for the rest of this episode.
Outright lied about me taking horse dewormer.
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
You
Guys,
didn't ask?
My dogs are barking, and I don't want that to ruin this video. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. My daughter's home, and the dogs were happy to see her.
I didn't think that was her. You're the medical guy over there.
I didn't ask. I should have asked before.
But they
coming
did
on
it
your
with
podcast.
such glee.
No,
yes,
Joe.
they did. I watched.
You watched?
I watched.
You watched? No, I don't think there's
yes,
glee.
They did.
I don't. No one takes.
Joe Rogan says he has COVID, taking livestock drug despite warnings. Yeah.
Jamie had to pull this up.
You want to play it?
Does she
This
have
is
glee?
your news network.
I'm gonna watch.
Let's see.
I'm gonna watch.
Rogan telling his 13 million Instagram followers that he was treated with several drugs, and he included Ivermectin on the list, a drug used for livestock. The FDA and the CDC warn against.
She does sound smug right there. I mean, you got to admit that. Used for livestock. I mean, it's so elitist and smug for sure.
Against using to treat COVID.
Turns out I got COVID.
Look, they put a yellow
we
filter on me
threw
too.
the kitchen sink at it. All kinds of meds. Monoclonal
You see the original
antibodies,
video versus that? I look like shit there.
Z-Pak,
Do you know that?
I think you look good.
Pause. It's enough.
Prednisone.
That's enough, Jamie.
I don't think Aaron had glee.
Oh, well, it's more Brian Stelter was the gleeful one. But the point is, that's a lie.
It can be used for humans. I get it. I totally.
Not just could be used for humans, is often used for humans, along with all the other drugs I took, all human drugs.
Yes.
They know it's a human drug.
It's right. But
they lied.
The thing.
It's defamatory.
It is. Yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
It's defamatory, right?
Well, I don't know if it's defamatory.
This is brutal because he is not letting up on this guy. This poor guy was going to come on here. His plan had to have been to come on this podcast and to save face for CNN and to try to spit out facts. And look, this guy's probably spitting out a lot of facts. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. But his plan had to have been to come on here, kind of bring the balance of the argument, bring some balance back to it, so it's not all anti-CNN, it's not all anti-vax. And he's done an okay job, but on these specific stories that they ran to smear Joe Rogan when it was clearly a lie, this guy's having a tough time, as he should.
Defamatory.
I bet it is.
Well, I'm not a lawyer.
It's a lie.
Well, see, here's the thing. You can have nuanced discussions about this.
No,
right?
you can't.
Yeah,
you can't have nuanced discussions about lying about someone taking horseshoe
There
wormer.
was no glee, by the way, from her. She
Wow,
was.
I didn't watch her.
Anyone takes people's illness.
Yes, they do.
They don't want you to get
stop
sick,
it.
Joe.
Yes, they do.
They
were
want you to
upset
get sick.
that I got healthy.
I
That's one thing they didn't report on. The fact that I was negative 5 days later and working out 6 days later.
Well,
6 days after infection, I was back in the gym.
I'm glad.
Felt great.
I'm glad you do. I really
Me
am.
too.
I think
Thank you.
Most of the
I'm
people.
glad you're glad. You're a nice guy.
Most of the people I know, I think, would be glad that you. I don't think that there was any glee.
There's a lot of people out there that weren't glad. But my point is, you're working for a news organization. If they're lying about a comedian taking horse medication, what are they telling us about Russia? What are they telling us about Syria? Do you understand that that's why people get concerned about the veracity of the news?
The concern was look, just the nuance part of this, and you're not taking a horse dewormer. I get it. You got that as a legitimate medication from a pharmacy.
Somebody
whatever.
gave me. That's kind of a joke. My friend Megan brought.
Oh man, that was brutal. But you know what? I actually want to take back something I said a few minutes ago when I said that deservedly so, when I was referring to him getting, embarrassed here, because he works. I'm not exactly sure what the full capacity of his employment is there. Is probably just some guy who comes on and talks about the vaccine, these little panels on TV. So I get that he's not making the decision, or maybe not, I don't know, but he's probably not part of the decision to run these stories that are flat out lies about Joe Rogan taking horse dewormer. I get that. But if you're going to come on the podcast, if you're going to work for CNN, you're going to have these types of debates, then you have to be ready for this. And I don't know what he thought was going to happen, but Joe Rogan went straight bulldog here, and he did not back down. And good for him, because you can't. Here's what you can't do. You cannot let. And I don't care if it's Fox, CNN, MSNBC. You cannot allow these media sources to just lie and get away with it. Now, and look, that's a whole nother discussion that I don't want to get into right now, because I'm not prepared to, and two, we're already at 18 minutes here. But I'm glad, Joe Rogan uses his platform to have these kind of discussions. So I'm also glad he's able to use his platform to combat the lies. And look, I'm sure he gets stuff wrong, but I believe Joe Rogan is the kind of person who tries to get it right, who tries to not be a liar. I believe, and sad as it is, when you talk about someone who tries to get to the truth of things, I believe Joe Rogan a lot quicker than I would believe like CNN or MSNBC. They're propaganda machines, and that sucks, man, because I want to live in a country where I can trust the news to give objective facts, and that's not happening almost anywhere. You can even throw Fox in there. And like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, I'm more conservative, but I'm not an idiot. And I know Fox lies. I'm sure they have their right-wing spinsters, arguing for the other side of the spectrum. I get that. But guys, that's it for me for episode 1. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you do, please leave me a like. Please consider subscribing. I'm going to try to upload at least 4 or 5 times a week. So, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.